And yeah, and it was our profound wish that DeSci Scotland, this narrative would continue, right? We were very aware that we're starting up something small here in Aberdeen, but we also said, like, we're pioneering this narrative of decentralized science, and we would like to kind of be as collaborative as we can with other endeavors in Scotland that support blockchain technology to make sure that this DeSci narrative grows in Scotland as well. And we presented that idea to Colin, who's doing a great conference at the 1st and 2nd of August in Glasgow, and he loved that idea. So we're passing on the torch to him already in the beginning of August, whereby there will also be a DeSci track on his conference for this year, and hopefully next year we're going to do it again in bigger numbers, hopefully, and hopefully also at One BioHub or in Glasgow or whatever it brings them, but that we make this an annually recurring event at minimum. Colin, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the intro, Aldo, and also thank you for curating the lineup today. I hope you've all enjoyed your day, and thank you for being part of the first DeSci Scotland event. As Aldo mentioned, currently organising BlockStart Scotland, which is the first major Web3 event to take place in Scotland. So what I'll do is I'll give you a brief background into myself and how this came about. So I've spent 10 or so years in the finance industry. I'm an accountant, and then 4.5 years ago was offered a job position as the CFO of a blockchain company. Spent a bit of time working for that company, and then thereafter did a bit of consulting work within the industry. Pretty much immersed myself in the blockchain space thereafter, and was fortunate enough to work alongside and with various C-level executives within the blockchain industry. Spent a bit of time out in the Middle East, and ultimately came back to Glasgow. Now Scotland has an abundance of blockchain talent, developers, entrepreneurs, but what was very evident from early on was that there wasn't a huge, there wasn't a thriving community. It was very difficult to connect with other people within the industry. And so having been kind of spoiled in that, I've been working in other regions such as Europe, the Middle East, and abroad, and I've spent a lot of time clocking up a lot of air miles, traveling to various other kind of ecosystems. I felt as though, I'd had enough of all the long traveling and thought, Scotland is crying out for something like this. Because as I mentioned, it's not that there's a lack of activity, it's just that there wasn't a platform or a common place for people to engage, to connect, and to basically learn. And so hence BlockStart was born. So this is the first event of its kind. It will be taking place now at the Barras Art and Design. There will be a maximum of 1,000 people there already. Since the announcement of the event nearly 12 months ago, it has been very well received. We have managed to secure a large number of very impressive speakers from a broad range of sectors, some of which have been are mentioned in this slide here. You've got, governance, enterprise, science, as well as Aldo mentioned. There's going to be a DeSci program tracked, so there'll be a panel there and presentations. On that note, there is still a couple of, I should say, spaces available for anyone that would be interested in participating in a DeSci panel. And then following on from that, we've also got other sectors such as sport, music, finance, gaming, fashion, community, and privacy involved as well. And so ringing on to that, the opportunity this presents for Scotland is about putting Scotland on the map. So showcasing the existing talent, bringing an international audience to Scotland, bringing industry experts from all over the world to Scotland to showcase their projects, to educate, to share their insights. We have a number of projects that are working on pioneering technologies that will be talking about said technologies, which will be great for, you know, the attendees on the day to be able to be exposed to that. But ultimately, this is very much a Web3 event. For those that aren't aware, Web3 kind of is this idea of the next concept of the internet where ownership comes into play. So it's this idea of read, write, and own, whereas the traditional internet that we know today is more read and write, which means it's kind of centralized companies that control, you know, the data. And touching upon, you know, obviously Aldo's project with genomes.io, this is about bringing blockchain into play where it's trustless and it's immutable, and it's very much giving ownership to the individual. And that's very much what Web3 is about. So the opportunity here for Scotland is to generate investment in the industry, which is currently lacking. Also for cross-border collaboration. Within the last few months, we partnered with Blockchain Ireland and also the Manchester Blockchain Alliance. The Manchester Blockchain Alliance being the largest blockchain ecosystem outside of London. But to basically align, share knowledge and collaborate to grow the space outside of London so that the north of the country is also well represented and the community up here can benefit from such events as well. So we are working closely with Manchester Blockchain Alliance and Blockchain Ireland to grow out the ecosystem. Both ecosystems will also be involved in the event, which has also helped with allowing us to enhance and strengthen our existing lineup of speakers. And ultimately, it's about industry growth. It's about BlockStart acting as a catalyst for the industry to stimulate growth, interest, and activity within the space. And since we've actually announced the event, we've seen an increase in the volume of activity and interest. On the back of it, there's been, or currently in the process of forming a task force with the government and institutions like FinTech Scotland, Scottish Enterprise, and heads of industry to promote Scotland as a legitimate location for blockchain activity. And moving on to the next slide, some of the companies that will be involved in the event. You have here mentioned the Scottish Government already. You've got the UK Government, Crypto UK, which is the trade body for crypto and digital assets within the UK. So they oversee the regulatory aspects of what's taking place in the UK. You've got Near Foundation, Solana, Binance, number of financial institutions here. Then if you look over to the right, you've also got leading universities that are also involved, the Max Planck Society and Bloxburg Blockchain, which are, you know, DeSci focused. So there's a broad spectrum of companies and individuals that will be involved. Aldo himself will be there with genomes.io, and very much this event is a beacon event that is going to play a significant role in building this ecosystem in Scotland. You know, Scotland is a country that has a strong history of, you know, innovators and entrepreneurs, and it's only right that when it comes to blockchain technology, that we establish ourselves as, you know, a player within the industry, given the fact that we do have a strong history of being innovative and kind of leaders and entrepreneurs. So that's pretty much the high level summary of BlockStart. Ultimately, in order to maximize the impact, we're hoping for the event to be well attended. The objective is that all of the attendees that are involved in the event will be able to extract value, whether that be insights, making contacts, new connections, you know, sourcing vital funding for their business. Because as I mentioned, there'll be a global audience here. There will be venture capital companies coming over from countries such as Hong Kong and other places in the world. And this is going to provide an opportunity for attendees to connect, to showcase their own projects. And that final point there in the first line there, and also to find potentially a partner for your business. If you've got your own venture or you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for, say, a co-founder, you know, we're hoping that by attending BlockStart and connecting with the right people, maybe you'll find that co-founder at the event as well. And ultimately, the objective is to create a platform, you know, in front of a global audience to, you know, showcase Scotland as a legitimate place to do business within the Web3 industry. And I've already mentioned here about, you know, the interest that's been generated on the back of the announcements of this event. We're very much in the final run up to the event. There's 6 weeks to go, so it's very much all systems go, and you know, we're finalizing our scheduling for the event, which is taking place on the 1st and 2nd of August, and it will run from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. And so finally, yeah, for anyone that is interested in attending, we actually have exclusive discount code here. The tickets are actually £220 for 2-day pass, but we've created an exclusive code just for DeSci Scotland members and for attendees at this event. Feel free to take a screenshot of that, which means that the tickets are 99 instead of 220. And yeah, lastly, any questions? I actually, hold on, my
Yeah, you were fast with that one.
yeah, my DeSci Scotland, there we go, sorry. Yeah, I thought that was afterwards. But yeah, basically, the main point of this call is to introduce DeSci Scotland. Obviously, all of you that are in attendance have enjoyed the first event that's taken place at the BioHub in Aberdeen. We hope that you've found it insightful and you've learned a lot, and you've been able to you know, connect with people as a result of it. But ultimately, this is just the beginning of the journey. We are, myself as co-founder with Aldo, we are introducing DeSci Scotland as an initiative. Our goal is to build a collaborative ecosystem for decentralized science in Scotland. And the main points regarding that, we want to foster collaboration. So we'll be hosting events and workshops over a period of time, you know, showcasing research and scientists, and also want to connect with developers that are building within the DeSci environment. Also for knowledge sharing, very much when you're in the infancy of any kind of industry or initiative, it's very much about, you know, collaboration, sharing knowledge, working together, and advancing, you know, technologies and initiatives within that industry. Ultimately, the goal as well of forming DeSci Scotland is to attract, you know, foreign investment and external investment to grow the ecosystem, to fund research projects, and to help, you know, young entrepreneurs that have great ideas source the funding that they require in order to bring their ideas to life. And as a result, all of those things will help grow the ecosystem. So there's a huge, you know, scientific community within Scotland as well. One thing I didn't mention is I actually founded a cancer charity 12 years ago called Unite Against Cancer. I've worked closely with the likes of Glasgow University, Wilson Wall Cancer Research Institute, and Dundee University. And this is very much an area of interest for myself personally as well. If you'd like to connect and discuss any opportunities, please feel free to email dsciscotland@mail.com or reach out to myself or Aldo directly. We're just setting up our socials. We have a LinkedIn, which is DeSci Scotland, and we've just set up a Twitter account, which is also DeSci Scotland, which you can find there. So please don't be a stranger. Feel free to reach out, and we'd love to work. We'd love to work with you on future events and projects. So please feel free to reach out and throw some ideas our way. But ultimately, our objective is to grow this ecosystem within Scotland and to, you know, stimulate interest in this area. So thank you very much for your time, everyone. I'll just jump now to any questions. So if anyone's got any questions, please feel free to fire away.
Hi, I have a question.
Hello.
Participating organizations, are they going to pay the same £99 that people who buy tickets to attend the conference, the event will pay? 1. 2, do you currently have like a digital community for the Web3 practitioners in Scotland?
So for Web3 practitioners, there's a number of different communities. So we have our own BlockStart community. There's other initiatives out there. There's the Scottish Blockchain Clan, which is a small community that will have meetups in Edinburgh, monthly meetups. But as I mentioned, it's very much, Scotland has been lacking regular events and kind of larger scale events to enable people to connect. And and hence the introduction of BlockStart. We've been, working on, we have a number of monthly events ourselves that take place in different cities. Initially it's Scotland, then it moves further afield, down to England, in Ireland, and then into Europe to raise awareness of the event, to once again draw interest towards Scotland. And so, yeah, you can check out the Scottish Blockchain Clan. They've got a Telegram group. Just search Scottish Blockchain Clan, and then there's BlockStart Scotland, BlockStart Scot. That's a Telegram group. We've also got Twitter, which is BlockStart Scot, and a website, blockstartscot.xyz. And for the tickets, this is just an exclusive discount code for the attendees at this event just now. So yeah, it's not being shared widely. So those that are going onto the website will have to pay the full price.
Thank you very much, Colin. Any more questions? Any more ideas or things? So if we want to contribute to DeSci Scotland, if you have any ideas, then let us know. I mean, it's the first year that we're doing this, right? So Colin sounds very professional, but we need people saying good. So I've been tweeting about it just now. So I will aggregate input and ideas of people to come and talk and kind of share their ideas. And we like the fact, as I said in the workshop, to do a part in Aberdeen and a part in Glasgow, and to make sure we have a Scotland approach to this, because we believe we're stronger if we collaborate in this way. Whereas I think BlockStart has a bigger focus on blockchain technology in the general sense of the word. I think we are stronger in the life sciences maybe, or can have some more academic validation for certain things. I don't know. We need to find the balance still. It's the first year. We're both very excited about it, but of course it's going to grow as these initiatives grow. So
is the BlockStart is that from the programmer point of view, or is it from the business point of view?
So BlockStart is a conference, and we'll have a how do you call that? Like have an avenue, or we'll have a specific section within kind of the conference that's all about DeSci, which is an extension of what we've been talking about here today. So essentially, it's a mini conference that they've adopted within their conference, which will be DeSci.
Yeah, exactly. So there'll be other, other technologies being discussed as well, such as DePIN, which is decentralized physical infrastructure networks. Then there'll be, government representatives discussing policy and governance, the regulatory environment. Then also sport, art, music will be covered as well. So it's basically all the different industries and key representatives showcasing how blockchain technology is being utilized within those industries. And as Aldo's mentioned there, DeSci will be one of the program tracks. Now, DeSci is potentially a huge industry, and we see that there'd be a greater demand for content and for events within that area. So the idea is that it will start off within BlockStart as a program track, but the objective is to grow out a wider ecosystem elsewhere. So there'll be the individual events as well that are solely dedicated towards DeSci in Scotland.
Yeah, so who knows what the future brings, right? If One BioHub is so excited about this, we're going to do more of this combined. Like it's up to us, right? But that's the exciting bit, and that's also what makes me so excited. Like we can grow it from here, and there is already there is a big interest for DeSci. If you check it out on social media, for example, or how many people are trying to create DeSci. And I'm very proud of the fact that Genomes is kind of one of the first one in when it comes to DeSci. So we're kind of very formative for the narrative. So that's also why we wanted to set up DeSci Scotland, because we want to take advantage of this leadership position that we have to a certain extent, which is why we said, like, okay, let's then also not call it Genomes, but let's call it DeSci Scotland, and be as collaborative as we can, so it benefits genuinely all with a similar interest in this narrative.
Exactly, and as we were saying, it's very difficult, or it has been very difficult to connect with other like-minded individuals in Scotland, and not for any good reason, to be honest. So we're kind of taking the initiative to try and connect people, bring them together, and we're we're teaming up, collaborating, and sharing our knowledge and resources to kind of achieve a wider goal. So, you know, very much looking forward to the future of DeSci Scotland and for working with Aldo, and hopefully all of you can be a part of that journey as well.
Thank you very much, Colin. This was very helpful. Very much looking forward to the beginning of August. I've never been in Glasgow, so it's going to be my first time. So only for that reason, I'm looking forward to that. Are there any, because this brings us to the end of the day. So before we close, are there any questions either online? I appreciate there are some loyal people with us still on Zoom or here in the room. Are there any final thoughts or questions you would like to share? Yeah, Reggie.
One small question.
Sure.
Like I'm into blockchain as well, so next month I'm doing the blockchain course. So it's like is Solidity the coding, which one is better for Go or the Solidity, which is better coding
Wait,
for blockchain?
Solidity, or what's the other one?
The Go.
The
Geo.
Go. So I think I can best take that question to one of our lead developers. I don't think you're going to get a concrete answer unless you are a blockchain developer, Colin. But
I'm not a blockchain developer, but what I can say is, you know, with Solidity, that's one of the most commonly used programming languages within the blockchain space. It depends entirely on what you're doing. But obviously Solana, you've got a growing ecosystem within Solana, which is predominantly Rust programming language. That's also applicable for the projects that are being developed within the Bitcoin ecosystem, which is your Ordinals projects and your BRC20 protocol. Actually, the creator of the BRC20 protocol is actually going to be speaking at BlockStart. So there'll be some really interesting individuals there that you can connect with and learn from. But yeah, with Solidity, that's probably the most common programming language used within the blockchain space, but it does depend entirely on what your objectives are and what you're trying to do. And yeah, on that note, it would be best, you know, speaking to a developer within the industry, and then kind of, you know, conveying, you know, clearly what your objectives are and what you're trying to achieve.
So we can take it offline, maybe for a broader answer. Any more thoughts, questions, criticism, blunt criticism? Now's the time. Okay, well then I would like to thank you all very, very much, to the people online and people present, to be here pioneering DeSci Scotland. I really enjoyed today. It was very informative. We've had challenges from trolls coming in on Zoom to people canceling last minute, but also great. These are the downsides, but the pluses have been overwhelming from great speakers. Really, you know, learned a lot there, as well as great contributions from all of you. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very, very much for attending, and we look forward to the next edition in Glasgow. And then hopefully the year after, once again here, and who knows what the future will bring. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, that's it from our side. Thank you.
Thank you, Aldo. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Just one question from myself, if that was okay.
Oh, there's a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, just for myself. So yeah, just to understand. So I'm based locally in Aberdeenshire. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it in person today due to work commitments. But just my question was really, so my background, my recent graduate in artificial intelligence. So I did the MSc in AI through Aberdeen University. Recently graduated, but I'm interested in doing a PhD now and kind of developing that further, and particularly in this area, looking at early detection, focused on cancers and other diseases. Really, I was just wondering what opportunities you were aware of locally that may be able to pursue.
So locally to Aberdeen, I'm not so sure about, but I know that Dundee has a very strong representation in that area and also in Glasgow. So what I'd recommend is speaking to some of these research institutes that are based within, for example, the Wilson Wall or the Wellcome, Institute at Dundee, and also the Wilson Wall Cancer Research Institute in Glasgow. Those would be two good institutions to speak with to see if they've got any opportunities specifically within that area.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Very happy. Thank you. And thank you so much for that question. And I'm sorry, I might have overlooked our online audience with questions. Just double checking if there are any more questions there before we close. Aldrin, there's a little chat thing? No more questions. Okay, guys, thank you so much. That's a wrap. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.